Shalom, family, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's scripture reading. And this week we'll be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23, through chapter 7, verse 11, Yashayahu chapter 40, verses 1 through 26, Matthew chapter 23, verses 31 through 39, and Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through 34. And I besought Yahuwah at that time, saying, O Yahuwah Elohim, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what Elohim is there in heaven or in earth that can do according to thy works and according to thy might? I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain and Lebanon. But Yahuwah was wroth with me for your sakes, and would not hear me. And Yahuwah said unto me, Let it suffice thee, speak no more unto me of this matter. Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward and northward, and southward and eastward, and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. But charge Yahusha, and encourage him, and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see. So we abode in the valley over against Beth Peor. Now therefore hearken, O Yashayahu, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live, and go in and possess the land which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers giveth you. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, Yahuwah thy Elohim hath destroyed them from among you. But ye that did cleave unto Yahuwah your Elohim are alive every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath Elohim so nigh unto them as Yahuwah our Elohim is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this Torah, which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before Yahuwah thy Elohim in Horeb, when Yahuwah said unto me, Gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire into the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. And Yahuwah spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And Yahuwah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye may do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yahuwah spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves, and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahuwah thy Elohim hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But Yahuwah hath taken you, and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. Furthermore, Yahuwah was angry with me for your sakes, and sware that I should not go over your den, and that I should not go in unto that good land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not go over your den, but ye shall go over and possess that good land. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he made with you, and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything which Yahuwah thy Elohim hath forbidden thee. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a consuming fire, even a jealous Elohim. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the good land whereunto ye go over your den to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahuwah shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahuwah thy Elohim, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahuwah thy Elohim, and shalt be obedient unto his voice. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that Elohim created man upon the earth, and ask from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Did ever people hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and lived? Or hath Elohim essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that Yahuwah your Elohim did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Unto thee it was showed, that thou mightest know that Yahuwah, he is Elohim. There is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee. And upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that Yahuwah, he is Elohim in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee forever. Then Moshe severed 3 cities on this side Jordan toward the sun rising, that the slayer might flee thither, which should kill his neighbor unawares, and hated him not in times past, and that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live, namely Bezer in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead of the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan of the Manassites. And this is the Torah which Moshe set before the children of Yashayahu. These are the testimonies, and the statutes, and the judgments, which Moshe spake unto the children of Yashayahu after they came forth out of Egypt. On this side Jordan, in the valley over against Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Yashayahu smote after they were come forth out of Egypt, and they possessed his land, and the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side Jordan toward the sun rising, from Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the plain on this side Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. And Moshe called all Yashayahu, and said unto them, Hear, O Yashayahu, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them, and keep, and do them. Yahuwah our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yahuwah made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. Yahuwah talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahuwah and you at that time, to show you the word of Yahuwah, for you were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah, thy Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Elohim in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as Yahuwah thy Elohim hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor, and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest, as well as thou. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Yahuwah thy Elohim brought thee out thence through a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm. Therefore Yahuwah thy Elohim commandeth thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as Yahuwah thy Elohim hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee, in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words Yahuwah spake unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. And it came to pass, when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and ye said, Behold, Yahuwah our Elohim hath showed us his kavod and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Elohim doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that hath heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and live? Go thou near, and hear all that Yahuwah our Elohim shall say, and speak thou unto us all that Yahuwah our Elohim shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And Yahuwah heard the voice of your words when ye spoke unto me, and Yahuwah said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. Oh, that there was such an heart in them, that they would fear me, and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them, and with their children forever. Go say to them, Get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments, which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as Yahuwah your Elohim hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which Yahuwah your Elohim hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whither you go to possess it, that thou mayest fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Yashayahu, and observe to do it, that it might be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahuwah Elohim of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Yashayahu, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Yahuwah, and thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house, and on thy gates. And it shall be, when Yahuwah thy Elohim shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things, which thou fillest not, and wells dig, which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware, lest thou forget Yahuwah, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods, or the gods of the people which are round about you. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a jealous Elohim among you, lest the anger of Yahuwah thy Elohim be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim, as you tempted him in Massah. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah, that it might be well with thee, that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which Yahuwah sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as Yahuwah hath spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What meaneth the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yahuwah our Elohim hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and Yahuwah brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And Yahuwah showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household, before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our Elohim, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah our Elohim, as he hath commanded us, when Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. When Yahuwah thy Elohim shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art a kadosh people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. Yahuwah thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that Yahuwah thy Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him, he will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments, which I command thee this day, to do them. Yashayahu chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort ye, my people, saith your Elohim. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she hath received of Yahuwah's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the kavod of Yahuwah shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahuwah hath spoken it. The voice said, Cry. And he said, What shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our Elohim shall stand forever. O Zion, that bringest good things, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringest good things, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Yehudah, Behold your Elohim. Behold, Yahuwah Elohim will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath directed the Ruach of Yahuwah, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing, and vanity. To whom, then, will you liken Elohim? And what likeness will you compare unto him? The workman melteth the graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretched out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in, that bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yea, they shall not be planted, yea, they shall not be sown, yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth, and he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. To whom then will ye liken me, or shall I be equal? Saith the Kadosh one. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their hosts by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Matthew chapter 23, verse 31. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. How can you escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets, and wise men, and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, Baruch is he that cometh in the name of Yahuwah. Mark chapter 12, verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them all well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Yahusha answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Yashayahu, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Yahuwah, and thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. And the scribe said unto him, Well, Master, thou hast said the truth. For there is one Elohim, and there is none other but he. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the soul, and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself, is more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. And when Yahusha saw that he answered discreetly, he said unto him, Thou art not far from the kingdom of Elohim. And no man after that durst ask him any questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.